12 departments within the same company or one department. So let's say if you have one department, let's say this is the production department, or this is the Nairobi branch of this particular company, then of course, we want to look at the observation. We want to count the observations up to 12 times. Then from there, we are going to be able to make a conclusion to come up with a system, a template of having now a constant cost function or cost estimate function. So these machine hours, I want us to do it together. And my interest here, what I've realized people are just copying, they are not really understanding. So I want us today to use different figures just to make the point understandable. So this is what we are going to do. You also do it from your side. I'm going to say equal to rand between. So we are going to have rand between. This is what we are going to use, rand between. We want to insert random numbers. The lowest value or the lowest figure there should be 180, comma, the highest should be 320. Should be 320. That's what we are going to have for machine hours column. So just do that, close your brackets, then you enter. When we come to the production costs, we are going to use the same formula, but now a different range. That is equal to rand between, click your tab button, the bottom, the lowest number, let's have 1,850, and the highest or top, let's have 5,235. Let's have 5,235. This is what we are having. Just look at my formula up here. Just look at my formula up here. The number range here is 1850, 5235. And it is not a must that you have the same thing. So long as you have given a range of those numbers, that will be my interest. Whether you have 12, yet I have 40, that will not be a problem to you. By doing that, I believe we are now going to follow the concept, not the answer. So you're going to have random numbers. I know, and I'm really sure that your figures are not the same as what I have here, even though the range is the same. We have applied the same range, rand between, the lowest is 180, the highest is 320. That is for machine hours column. Product or production cost column. Production cost column, you just insert them manually. You insert the numbers, just type 1850, 5235. Then you enter them. I do that. Anytime I try to save this, it will keep on changing. It will keep on. Let me just save so that I'm able to do the savings very well. Good. So this is what I have as my formula indicates. The lowest is 180, the highest is 320 for machine hours. Production cost, the lowest 1850, the highest is 5235. Yes, you'll get different numbers. It will keep on changing. So what you do now, come and highlight the two, then you autofill. Highlight the two and autofill. Highlight the two and autofill. Is that done? Are we all at the same point now? Are we all at the same point? They will keep on changing until we have our numbers without any formula. So the numbers being different there is my interest because now we will be following the concept, not the answers. Now, I want us to have now a constant thing. So just highlight these numbers, copy, then you paste values. Come to paste special here, you paste values. So by doing that, you'll be able to see your numbers are now there. They are not going to change. There is no formula. There is no formula within your numbers. How to autofill? You just highlight these two. Then at the bottom right corner here, you do this to be able to autofill, or just come at the bottom right corner here, you double tab. Just double left click, and then you'll be able to see it auto-filled. So now my numbers will not change. They are now constant because I've eliminated the formula. So as we do this working, as we proceed, I believe everyone has got now numbers that are not going to change. There is no formula. We've eliminated the formula. So once you've been able to eliminate the formula, identify X and Y. So to make your work simple, I will give you this one here. The machine hours, you are going to use it as X. Copy, and then you paste values. Copy, then you paste values. Copy, then you paste values. Equal to, rand between, click your tab button. Bottom number, let me now pick even 195. The highest, let me have 267. That is what I've done. I come to this point to do the same, but now change this. I have 1959. Then here 2967. So that's what I have. So what you do is this. You just come here, highlight the two, double tab to autofill. I want to eliminate the formula. Just copy Control C. Then you come here, you paste values. You paste values. You paste values. So you'll be able to have your numbers without the formula. We now have our numbers, and I've said machine hours is X, production cost is Y. So now go ahead to get us A and B, whereby A is the fixed cost, B is the variable cost per unit. And then after identifying the two, you should be able to give us Y equal to A plus BX. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that very fast. I believe no one is joining us today for the very first time. So all of us were there yesterday. If you're not there yesterday, but then you are able to go through the video. So we now come to data. Of course, we are now working out what we did yesterday. So I expect our speed to be a little bit high. Just get to data. Regression. My Y input, this is it. My X input, this is it. I want it to include the title there. Confidence level, I can have it or not. Then output range, I want it to be within the same worksheet. I can have it somewhere here. Then, okay. After pasting, you now do regression. You now do regression. You now do regression. you now do regression analysis. Regression analysis. So once that is done, you should be able to see this. You should be able to see this. So there's a new thing that I want us to just see within the regression. So if you've been able to do regression, I want you to have this. You can eliminate that. You can do away with what you've done for regression. You redo it again. But this time around, if you're going to do your regression, this is what you need to do. Let's have our regression. It is still selecting the range. That is what we've done. So you can even activate this one here, residuals, and then, okay, within the same range. Within the same range. My data analysis ilipotea tena. Do I have to activate every time? It should be done once. So maybe you deactivated. It should be done once. Mine has been here for the last 8 months. Mine has been active for the last 8 months. So it means you did something to yours. Good. I can see John has done something. So based on the figures that John has, remember I said our figures are not going to be the same. And it was intentional. They are not going to be the same. The cost function that John has will be different from the cost function that I am having from my side. And we can clearly see that. You cannot have an Excel without data analysis. It is there. Gladys, if you are in our yesterday's class, you are able to do the activation of that. You're able to see how to activate that. If not, the video that we recorded yesterday, has got everything and it was shared in our group. It should be able to help you. But we are going to see how to help. So this is what I want you to do. Maybe you have a lot of figures. So we've been able to get the cost function here. Y equal to A, which is 33.547. That is what we have, plus bx. And what is our b? B is now here, -2. So it will be that one minus 2.81881. So that is what we have. That is what we have there. X. That is what we have there. Bx. So that's our cost. That's our cost function. That's our cost function. I can see Oronyo is also posting, has posted what he or she has calculated as the cost function. Now we want to get this using High-Low Method. Now, if you were there yesterday or you followed the video, this is what we did. We said that for us to get, this is what we now need to have. For us to get, okay, that analysis will not be of help to us. We are just going to do High-Low Method, which is already here. Here, we said that our B was the slope. Our B was the slope or gradient of the curve. And this gradient was basically equivalent to change in Y, change in Y, divide by change in X. change in y over change in x, that's our gradient. Change in y over change in x, it is the slope of the curve. And A is now the constant figure. It is the y-intercept, y-intercept. So using High-Low method, we need to get the coordinates. The coordinates at the highest point, we can call it G. The coordinates at the lowest point, we can call it T. So the pair, remember we said that this gradient will change in y over change in x. We said also it is called cost driver. Another name is independent variable. Y, or the y-intercept, we said is the dependent variable. Please pardon from y-intercept kindly. That y-intercept, y-intercept, it is the dependent variable. At that point, x is equal to 0. We have produced 0 units. We've done 0 activity. Slope is the gradient of the curve, change in y over change in x. And we already have y and x. We are not going to use that analysis. Admin, just allow us to cover this concept. Just allow us to cover this concept. The data analysis is not going to be used unless otherwise. So at this point here, we need to identify the coordinates now. So the coordinates, it is x, comma, our coordinates is normally x, comma, y. It is x, comma, y. So I want you to give me the pair that has got the highest values. This pair that has got the highest values. Which pair are we going to use? Which has got highest values? Sorry. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. It is not dependent. The dependent variable is y. It is what? It is y. It is y. That is the dependent variable. So the pair that gives us the highest value, I'm being told it is 262, 25, 92. 262 is the highest figure here. 262 is the highest figure, as we can see in the x section. So we have 262, comma 25, 92. That is what we have as that coordinate. That is what we have as the coordinate. Then the next coordinate, the lowest. Let's now pick the lowest pair. The lowest pair. The lowest pair. Yes, I expected this, and this person now helps us to solve the confusion that normally arises when we tackle this concept. Ruth, thank you for that. So the highest pair, I have 202, 27, 29. I have 202, 27, 61. So we have 202 appearing 2 times with different values. So we have 202, but I believe it is this one here you are referring to. We are referring to 202, comma 27, 29, and then 27, 61. But here we are looking for the lowest. So if 202 is appearing 2 times, which one has got the lowest value? The 202 with the lowest value is 27, 29, 27, 29. Good. What's G and T? Those are the names of the coordinates. Those are the names of the coordinates. Let me make it simple by doing this. Let me help Ododa here. 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 We are going to have this. Let's have this. Oh, I've seen that coming. So if you look at what we have here, let me just have this trend, show the trend line. The trend line will be very important to us. So let's say this is our trend line. That's our trend line. You can just expand it. So Ododa, if you look at what we have here, for us to plot this line here, we were saying it is X, Y. So at this point here, it is 200 or 202, 29, 29, 61 here. So this point here is what we call T. Then the lowest, maybe we picked also another one down here. Are you able to see the series? It is 244, 22, 98. At this point, what do we have? The series at this point. Let me just have this. We have 222, 24, 32. So you are able to see the first one is the X, the second one is Y. If I move to this one here that is up here, it is going to be 219, 28, 93. If I move here, it is 213, 28, 61. So these dots here are what now we call the coordinates. That's now the coordinates pair. It has got the value of Y and X, or X and Y. So it starts with X and then we move to Y. Is it now clear? Is it now clear? Why are we taking the values in pairs? Shouldn't we take the highest value and the lowest value of Y separately and then? Good. So I'm going to explain that to you. Once we are done with this question, you'll be able to understand why we are doing that. Okay, they are saying that not understanding. The coordinates should have X, Y. The coordinates should have X, Y. So just put them in text form. Now that we've seen X, Y, how to get the coordinates. So at this point, let's say we've decided to pick this. We've decided to pick the first one here, 213. Let me just show you the ones that we picked. The first one was 262, 25, 92. So that 262, maybe it is somewhere here, 262, it is this one here. So look at what I have where my cursor is. I believe you're able to see 262, 25, 92. So at this point here, I can give it a name. The name that I've decided to give it is G. The coordinates at point G is 262, 25, 92. Then the other one that we've taken is 202, 27, 29. So 202, of course, it is somewhere here. 202, this is it, 202, 27, 29. So at that point, at that point our coordinate is at point T, it is 202, 27, 29. So we've now seen that. The chart was just to demonstrate. Of course, you just go to insert, then scattered graph, and you'll be able to insert the chart. But my interest was to show you what a coordinate is. Okay, why are we taking the values in pairs? How did you come up with the chart? I think I've explained that. So let me now do away with the chart. It is going to be useless to us. Let me do away with the chart. So when you are going to do your estimation of the cost function, we said for us to get B, which is the slope, it is the gradient, or it is change in Y over change in X. So we come here and say B is equivalent, our B is equivalent to change in Y, so equal to change in Y. The highest value of Y is 2792, or 2729, 2729 minus the lowest value of Y now in the coordinates that we've picked, 2592. That is the change in Y. The highest value of Y minus the lowest value of Y will give us change in Y. Then that change we divide by change in X, which is now the highest value of X, 262 minus 202. Close the bracket, then you enter. So this is our B. This is our B. This is our B. Good. There's something that we are missing. Which one was the highest? This one here, the lowest pair. This one here was the highest pair. So some people are wondering. Here we have 202, which we are saying is the lowest, yet Y is 2729. Up here, we have 2592, we are saying is the highest, yet it is only X that is the highest, and Y is now the lowest as per the pairs that we've picked. Is there someone with a question of that kind? Why are we doing that? Is there anyone who is wondering why we are doing all that, yet these figures are not highest and lowest? The pairs are not making sense. The pairs are not making sense at all. Why are you confusing us? We have the highest value of X with the lowest value of Y, and then you tell us that is the highest pair. Now, let us get to understand this. What are the names that we gave to B? It is slope or gradient, which is change in Y over change in X. It is the cost driver. It is the independent variable. It does not depend on anything. It determines what the outcome will be. It is the cost driver. It dictates the outcome. The machine hours will dictate what the total production cost will be. Production cost cannot dictate the total machine hours. No, it is the total machine hours that we are going to use to get the total production cost. So total production cost is dependent on the machine hours. If you are going to pick these pairs, remember I took you directly to X column. You first of all identify Y and X. That's number one. After identifying those items, the columns, that is X and Y, you now need to go to X column. Assume that you don't have this column of production cost. This is what will determine the total production cost. So it is what will tell you the highest value and the lowest value. It will tell you the highest value pairs and the lowest values pairs. Assume that those values of production cost are invisible. So this X column here will dictate your highest values pair and the lowest values pair. And that's why We went to X column here and located the lowest value of X. 202, we got the 2. And then now we decided that if 202 is the lowest, but we have 2 of them. So this one here was giving us the lowest value on both cases, because this one has got 2761, yet this one is 2729. If we're looking for the highest value, we did not come to production cost column. No, we look for that highest value in X column, the cost driver column. What is our cost driver column? Machine hours. We looked for the highest value here and we got 262 to be the highest value. This 262 corresponds to 2592. We even have 2861, which is 2869, which is the highest value in this particular column. Actually, we have even 2893, but it does not correspond to the highest value of the cost driver. So we cannot pick this pair to be the highest values pair. No, it must be guided. It must be directed by the values in the cost driver column. And that's why we came to a conclusion of saying that the highest values pair is 262, 2592, because it has the highest value of X, our cost driver. We took 202, 2729 because 202 was the lowest value of our cost driver. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together now? Are these things now making sense? Are they now making sense to somebody? Are they now making sense to somebody? Good. So now we proceed. I want us now to move together, having identified the coordinates. Independent variable determines the lowest and the highest. Yes. Remember, it dictates our total cost depends on the machine hours that were utilized. Our total cost depends on the machine hours. Now, we come to this point. We've identified that our B is change in Y over change in X. So where is the highest pair? This one here is what we are going to pick. So what is the value of Y in the highest pair? Change in Y. In the highest pair, our change or the value of Y is 2592. 2592 minus the value of Y in the lowest pair, 2729. You close your bracket. That you divide by, now 262, which is the value of X in the lowest pair, that is change in X, minus 202. So that is now the workings that were required. So if you do that, you'll be able to get a negative 2.28333. What does this show you? It is close to what we have under regression. Remember, this is the function as per regression analysis. Remember, this is the function as per regression analysis. Brenda is confusing something. Brenda is confusing something. Look at what we have. It is 2592 minus 27. Yes, that's what we've actually done. Brenda, that's the correct thing. How did you put the commas in between? Because Nikiweka it redesigns. Here, remember, if you put numbers in the cells, automatically it is going to pick the number. So what you do, you change it to text. You change it to text. You change it to text. You change it to text by using what I have here. Let me just expand it. Then you see the sign that I've used up there. This is how I'm changing it to text. This is how I'm changing it to text so that you don't have issues. When you put this one here, are you able to see this sign up here? This one here. If you just put one, you'll be able to change it to text. So even if insert numbers, it will not disappear. And that's now what makes it possible to write numbers. Like if you want to write 07 34 56, you'll see that 0 disappearing. But to the moment you now use that and then you put your 0, it will not disappear. I'm converting it to text. It is okay because the values that you used are different from mine. What I want us to follow is, are you able to get B using your values? I don't expect anybody in the meeting to have the same values as what I have. If you have that, then there is something that you are not doing. Okay, so back to this. So we have our B. We have our B. Now, how do we getting negative positive B? Good, that's still okay. It depends with the range that we inserted. Remember, I also changed my range at some point, so that's not an issue. So long as you are following the procedure that we are doing, then it is okay. Now, we want to get the value of A. What is our function saying? Our total cost says that equal to fixed cost plus variable cost per unit, which for our case be X. Do we have any of these values here? Within the pairs that we picked, that's what will determine how we are going to get the value of A. Within the pairs that we picked, remember Y represents total costs, and total cost is Y here. How can you Excel to select highest of large data? We are going to do that. We are going to get to that point, admin. Don't worry about that. Admin, don't worry about that. Now, at this point, we are saying that Y is equal to A plus BX. So within these pairs that we have, X represents the machine hours and Y represents the total production cost. So let's pick any of them. Let's say we want to use the G. We want to use the G pair. Yes, we want to use the G pair here. So this G pair is showing us something here. Y is the total cost. So it tells us that 25.92, which is the total cost, is equivalent to A plus BX. What is the value of B which we calculated? The value of B is negative 2.2833 multiplied by X. What is the value of X as per what I have here? If you are really following what I'm doing, what are we going to have as the value of X? The number of to be used as X. We've picked the G pair. It is X comma Y. What are we going to use as X? What are we going to use as X? What are we going to use as X? 262. So if that pair is taken, 262, and we have it, that is the workings that we have. Can we make A the subject of the formula? If you make A the subject of the formula, you are going to have 25.92, all these things that are here, remember it is plus minus. So automatically it is a negative. So the answer that we're going to get here is a negative, but when it crosses the equal sign, it will be a positive. So automatically we have, or just have plus, close the bracket. So it crosses the equal sign, it will be a plus. So 2.2833 multiplied by 262. Close your brackets and enter. So it means the value of A is 3190. So cost function using High-Low method. Cost function using High-Low method, Y is equal to A, which is 3190.232. Then B, what is the value of B? Our B is negative, so minus 2.28333x. That is our cost function. This is our cost function. This is our cost function as per. This is our cost function as per. This one here, regression. This one here is as per High-Low method. This one is as per High-Low method. So you can see regression has got this, High-Low method has got this. But you can see the pattern is almost the same because we have negative variable cost per unit is this B. These are variable cost per unit. The slope is the variable cost per unit. The slope here is the variable cost per unit. And then A is now the fixed cost, which is constant. And this one here is the total production costs. So we now have a function based on regression method, a function based on High-Low method. That is what we have. That is what we have there. That is the simplest way of doing regression analysis or getting the cost function using High-Low method. So this procedure using High-Low method is the same. The only thing I want now to summarize, the only thing now we want to make to be very simple is now to get the highest and the lowest value. Assume we have data up to 100,000 rows. How will you arrive at the highest and the lowest value pair? Very simple. So somebody can use this. Let me just do away with these ones here. And come at this point, go to your data. Here, you pick descriptive statistics. So I want you to compare by just coming to the X column, locating the lowest value and the highest value in X column, and following this procedure, you come to descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics, you now have the input range. So input range, this is it. And then you instruct it that the first column or the first row has got the titles of the data set. Then I give it the output range. I pick my summary statistics, the output range, I just put it somewhere here. So I want you to compare this, just going to that column, looking for the highest and the lowest, or going the descriptive statistics way. So if I go the descriptive statistics way, my interest is to get, remember X column is the cost driver. X column is the cost driver. So I come here under machine hours. It will tell me the lowest value and the highest. So minimum, I just come down minimum. Can we recall what 202 was? Are we able to recall what 202 was? Are we able to recall? Are we able to recall the 202? Purity, are you able to recall 202 first? Are you able to recall 202? Are we able to recall 202? Are we seeing this 262 somewhere? This 262, are you able to see it somewhere? Are we able to see it somewhere? So the descriptive statistics will give you the highest or the maximum and the minimum number of which column, which is our interest. Column X, the cost driver column. Because if you just come here, somebody is likely to do this mistake. If you come here, you pick that this one here is the lowest value, 202. And then they pair it with this 202, 2298. You come here and tell me, just come here and tell me 202. Is it corresponding to 2298? 2298. They are not corresponding. So you have just to concentrate on the cost driver. So admin was there yesterday and we were able to activate the data analysis tool pack. The video has got that. So just come to file, go to file, options down here. Then we move to add-ins. We move to add-ins, then go. It will take you to this point. Activate your analysis tool pack. Activate, that is mark that box, this box here with the analysis tool pack. Mark it and then okay. You'll be able to see your data analysis up here. So that is what we are supposed to do. I believe you are now able to see it. Admin, you are now able to see it. I believe you are now able to see it down there. No, then there's an issue with your Excel. There's an issue with your Excel. So descriptive statistics, now that you have your data analysis, I just come to data, descriptive or data analysis. I pick the descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics. Then okay. Here we don't need to select column or the Y input range and X input range. No. Here you highlight everything. I just come here, highlight my data set. This is it. Then I ensure that because I've included the title, I instruct my Excel that labels are there in the first row. Then the output range, I want it to give me the results beginning from this point here within the same worksheet. And it should also give me summary statistics. And then, okay. If you do that, you'll be able to see minimum, maximum. So if you're going to do statistics, of course, these are the things you'll be dealing with. But my advice is because you don't have time to do all this, if you can easily locate the highest value, because what I know, if the examiner is going to give you a question of this kind, the highest number of observations you are going to have will not be more than 12 months. Ikienda sana 15. So 15 observations cannot be a problem for you to identify the lowest and the highest value in just one column. So to save on time, avoid the procedure of the data analysis that will take you a lot of time. Good. So that's all you need. That's all which was required for High-Low method still under review.